Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those that are new to the channel, my name is Anita Mbanyahu, and in this channel I talk about day-to-day social issues, spirituality and family dynamics. So if this is something that you would like to sign up for, please subscribe to the channel. So whenever I open up my YouTube channel, I always stumble across people giving testimonies about apartments, about husbands, about wives, and I was like, God, please take me out of this wilderness. When are you taking me out of this wilderness? Because I'm tired of talking about depressing things. I want to give testimonies. I want to uplift people, and I just want to motivate people, because it seems like everyone is going through a hard time now. And God revealed to me that the fact that I'm still alive, the fact that I am healthy and alive, is a great testimony itself. So I was like, oh, that is an insult to God, to think that materialistic things are the only things that we can thank God for. But we can thank God for the wilderness, for giving us strength when we are going through hard times. This took me to the book of Exodus, when the people of Israel were taken out of Egypt and were in the wilderness. It made me realize how the wilderness was important for the people of Israel's relationship with God, so that they could know God more and they could worship Him in truth. So God is God, and God is mighty. It could have made their journey easily and smoothly, but God intentionally hardened Pharaoh's heart so that He could reveal Himself to the people of Israel. It says in that chapter that God was a pillar of cloud during the day and a pillar of fire during the night. He gave them direction. He didn't make their way easy, but He gave them strength. He gave them direction in the wilderness during that difficult time, because they had to enter the land of Canaan with testimonies. The land of Canaan was full of people who were idol worshippers, who were immoral. So God didn't want them to fall into their idol worship when they entered the land of Canaan, and He wanted to reveal Himself to them as God, so that they could also influence other people to worship the true God. So that is how I came up with today's topic, which is allow God to rescue you. So what are some of the things that God rescues us from? God gives us consolation during suffering and during grief. He gives us strength always when we are weak, and He saves us from our enemies. When God sees us going in the wrong direction, He catches us in a point where we can turn around and gives us an opportunity to make the right decisions. God always provides a way out, or a strength to endure, when we worship Him in truth and with a flame of affection. God in Jeremiah 29 verse 11 promises the people of Israel of the plans that He has for them. It says in verse 11, "For I know the plans I have toward you, says the Lord, plans of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and hope." And it says in verse 12, "Then you will seek me and go and pray to me and find me, and I will listen to you. And you will seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart." So God requires us to worship Him and to trust Him even in horrible circumstances. How did the people of Israel get out of Egypt? It was not through their strength. It was not through negotiations or intelligence. It was God that took them out of that land. God purposely made everything hard or not easy for them to get out, because He wanted to reveal Himself as God. It was part of God's purpose for them to go through everything that they went through during the wilderness. So when I was trying to find my way on YouTube, trying to open up my own YouTube channel and trying to see what I needed, the tools that I needed to open up my YouTube channel, I watched these content creators giving advice, but those advice did not apply to me, did not apply to the reasons I wanted to open up the channel. But one advice stood up for me. The person said that do not take for granted the period where your audience is only your family members. That is the period when you need to level up your skills, to learn how to edit, to learn to be confident in front of the camera. So that stood out for me, because the period where I am in the wilderness is a period where I need to seek God more. I need to worship God in truth, every period we need to worship God in truth, but that period when we feel weak, when we feel down, is an opportunity for us to seek Him more, to allow Him to be the Father, to take His will in our lives, to take the driver's seat, so that we cannot depend on our strength, but on His. Now we can believe that as long as God rescued us from sin, from being slaves to sin, He can also rescue us from the wilderness. But once again, if we allow Him to do so. In the Bible, it emphasizes that our prayers need to be according to the will of God. Prayer is not means to persuade God to do something that is against His better judgment. Abimelech, the king of the Philistines, chased Isaac out of the land because he saw how mighty he is, how mighty his God is, and that was a threat to him. So Isaac went out. He tried to dig well. He did dig wells, right? But he also tried to dig wells elsewhere, and he got rejected. So the third time when he tried to dig a well, they allowed him to. So he also faced rejection. His journey to the promised land was not easy, but he trusted God. He trusted God's instruction because he knows how great his God is. And for God to be revealed in us, we do not have to have materialistic things. There are other ways that God could be revealed in us. As I'm speaking about the wilderness, there are wilderness that we create ourselves, that are self-created, and there are wilderness where we don't have control over. For an example, this example is wild, but it's the only thing that I can think of right now. If you are in a relationship with someone and this someone continues to cheat on you, is very unfaithful, but because you want to be with this person, you stay in this relationship, and eventually it causes permanent scars. For an example, you get infected with an STD. That is self-created because you had the opportunity to leave that relationship before you received those permanent scars. And the wilderness that is out of our control, for an example, here the example of Isaac that I made when there was famine in the land, those wilderness are out of our control. In both these wilderness, the self-created and the ones that we don't have control over, we need God to rescue us. God does not rescue us only by taking us out of the situation, but He rescues us by giving us strength to endure a situation. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, it says, "No temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to men. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. But with the temptation will also make the way of escape, that you may be able to bear it." God is able to take us out of any situation because He is God and He is mighty. He does not only take us out of the situation by removing the situation, but by giving us strength to endure the difficulties because He is God. Allow Him to take His position as a Father. Flee to Christ. Christ is our only hope. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Until we meet again next time. Bye.